ladies. Questions for, go ahead, Mrs. Williams. Go ahead, hon.
First of all, I want to address Paula about the meeting. The only name you mentioned was Mrs. Williams, okay? I find that offensive because I was not the only one at the meeting. My next question is to Freddie, is about the fire escrow. Last month, I brought up the fire escrow, okay? Our engineer said there's $13,000 in the escrow account, and your report says it's only $8,168 and some change. Every month that you get this here finance, and I don't know why all of council is not getting this finance report, these numbers change. Okay, I was told they were condensed, okay? I don't know how they're condensed.
I can answer that, Mrs. Williams.
Go ahead, make it brief.
There were
if you would, I'm
24
sorry.
bank accounts that this borough unnecessarily had, and we reduced them down to 5. The fire escrow has $8,000 in it, and the rest of it, for the $13,000, is in the general fund. There is the same amount of fire escrow left. However, Mrs. Prey contends that there was a $3,000 bill paid out of the original $16,000 for the board up, but that has yet to be discovered.
My next question is, if Mr. Lesher, who's our finance chair, he should be responsible for all finances, questions, he should be able to answer. I was talking to Mr. Lesher and not Mrs. Brown. Because if he is our chair, he should be able to answer my questions. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the audience for finance?
Yes,
For Mr. Lesher?
I have a question.
From the audience? Thank you. Go ahead, Martha. Councilman Van Auken. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
First of
Councilwoman.
all, I just want to address,
Person. No, I'm not trying to
I
disrespect
want to
her.
address Paula Brown for a second. First of all, Paula Brown, we did not open those accounts. The previous administration, if you want to call Pliggett tomorrow, please do, and see when those accounts were opened in Pliggett. They have a general fund, they had a sewer fund, they had a fire tax fund, a borough hall fund, a highway fund, a sewer fund, a tax fund, a highway aid fund, a zoning hearing, a fire relief, an escrow, driveway fund, and more. And when they had Shannon Savings and Bank, they even had an Easter egg party fund. There are lots of funds that were out there we did not open. We opened just a couple at Beneficial, okay? Now, if you don't like that, I'm sorry.
Including the one with your name that said
Listen,
Martha
listen,
Van
listen.
Auken?
Listen, would you
Paula
make,
Brown, if you're
listen,
gonna accuse me of something,
would you make a note of that and bring that up under your borough's manager report?
Sure.
I don't want to be here till 3 in the
Right,
morning.
thank you.
Well, it's not my fault you decided to have it in one night.
I understand.
These are questions I need to be answered, so I want
I
you to
know.
call Pliggett tomorrow
She can
and
bring it
find
up in
out
her
when all
manager's
those
report.
accounts were opened, and let the people know.
I was not
they weren't
referring to
open
the
yet.
Pliggett
Make a
accounts,
note
we're
of that and
referring to
bring
the
it up.
beneficial account.
Count them, there's not
The same bank that
One more,
allowed you
then
to
we
get
gotta get
9
moving.
debit cards
Okay.
through a fax
I
machine.
have one more question for you, because this hasn't
Through a
been
fax
answered.
machine?
Yeah.
Let her speak.
What happened, okay, when y'all came in, our only bank was Beneficial. We got kicked out of Beneficial in 10 days after y'all came in. What happened to all of the money that was in there? Because we had the tax account, and over the Christmas holidays, money was going into the tax account. The fire escrow, that money should be nowhere but in fire escrow, because in the state of Pennsylvania, where there is a fire in a borough, it's required that the insurance company sends you 20% that you have to hold in escrow. We are not supposed to touch that money. It should not be in general fund. It should have been in that fire escrow, and if the people walked away, that money can only be used on that property to board it up, to help knock it down, to maintain it. Now, I know that the resident that lives next door to it, he's been here a year. trying to get us to do something to that house. And that money is the only money that we have to do something to that house. And 13,000 of it is in the general fund. It should have never been in the general fund because that's against the law.
The money's not disappearing, and Alex reported on the money, and Alex has been doing everything with that house. We even actually brought it up last month on what to do with it. And Mr. McLean also is working to get some money to take care of that house. He's made some contacts. So the money didn't disappear. Okay, the money is there, okay? It's gonna go towards, it was a little bit short on what needed to be done to that house as far as knocking it down according to the
My
borough
question to you,
engineer's
Freddie,
report.
was how did the money get into the general fund when that check came in and it went directly to fire escrow? Really? We're not supposed to touch that money. The only time we're supposed to touch that money is if the people walk away from the property. That is why the state make us hold it. So we can always go to the bank to find, they keep a copy of the certified checks that we wrote to have it boarded up. When he came around here and said that they were getting mosquitoes because of the back, well, the back has collapsed. That money should still be where we put it until it's either used on that house or given back to the owner once he fixed up the property. So how did it get into the general fund? That's all I'm asking you, because it shouldn't have been there. It wasn't there. That's not where it was deposited. It's not supposed to be there. See, we did this wrong, we did that wrong, we did this wrong. We're always accused of doing something illegal. We're accused of stealing. Right now, we're still being accused of stuff. And I'm asking the question. The question is, by law, that money should stay separated from the Colwyn money because it's not Colwyn's money. Now we're being told that part of it is in general fund and part of it is still in the escrow. That's not our money. It was never our money because we've had other fires where the people have actually fixed up their house and we've had to go and get a cashier's check and have them sign off on it. That was never our money. That's law. And you can ask one of the fire people to pull that law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, next is public safety report.
We forgot municipal services.
Municipal service.
I'm sorry, my apology. Go ahead, municipal services.
Under our new money-saving highway plan,
Right,
we did fine on all these storms where we just brought Hank Ockamy in with about 35 years of snowplow experience. And after the snowstorm, we sent him home and we didn't have to pay him to do anything else. So our new way of saving the taxpayers money with the highway department is absolutely worked out during the bad weather. And there's, because he saw it, the guy came in the middle of the night one night, he waited by the telephone call.
okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Mrs. Williams. Go ahead, Councilman, Mrs. Williams, go ahead.
Okay, you guys hired Hank Ockamy that sued the borough twice and won. Under the recommendations of our solicitor, he should not be employed with us. Can someone address that? He is a liability.
You want me to address it?
No, we want to.
Don't everybody speak
You
at
want me to
once.
address, or do you want to do it?
I know we could drive.
He was used twice.
Police.
Or you want to
Used
address it,
twice.
Mr. John?
Can
He's
the
one that hasn't even made
president address that?
it. To my knowledge, he's brought in, on an as-needed basis for snow plowing. We haven't had a lot of snow this year, so we really haven't utilized much of his services.
Can I ask?
We've
Is he
been
not a
fortunate.
liability?
This is a new
I'm not
administration.
talking
Is
to
he a
you,
liability?
You are not to
It is-
discuss
You want my
any
personal opinion?
Yes.
To me, he's an
litigation.
asset.
Oh, he is?
Well.
35 years of experience.
I've known him all my life. He worked in Darby for 30 years.
My question to you.
And he was great in
I did not
Darby.
ask you if he worked on a truck for 50 years.
He can hit the
Is
line
he
drive.
not a liability to the borough?
No,
Did
to
he
me, he's an
not-
asset.
Okay. So,
He's an
when he
asset.
hurts himself because he can't
It's
even
gonna be
get
the
out of
third
the truck.
microphone she breaks.
Okay, I videotaped it. Yes, I did. He is a big liability to the borough.
Okay.
Because of
His health?
political reasons that he's here.
John,
No,
Okay, you had to fulfill the campaign promises, okay? And I do have an email, if anyone cared to read the email from the solicitor.
Could you read that, please?
Can I
No,
ask a question?
No, let's hear it, let's hear it, let's hear it. Let's read it.
Can I ask the solicitor
I don't think we
question?
can discriminate
Can I
against.
ask?
Wait, can I finish?
Sure, I
And
just
I'll
was
let you
asking.
speak. I don't think we can discriminate against anyone because of their
Mr. McBride, Am I
health.
allowed to read this email?
Because of their health, because you're covered under the ADA.
Well, you're talking
Now-
about somebody is not here.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm just saying,
Am I allowed
anybody,
to read
Mayor.
this email?
I could get in a snowplow truck and I'm not the healthiest
It's an
person.
email that deals with personnel issues.
Yeah.
Council can do what it wishes, but it involves litigation and personnel issues.
Can
Yeah, you can't do that.
can I ask a question?
I think, go
Can I
ahead.
ask a question? John, did I not call, I had the flu the last meeting. Did I not call you and tell you, and we used to have, see, this is why you see where her camera is. It's not on everybody. She will edit this before it goes on the YouTube. But John, did I not call you and tell you over the phone the specific reasons why we could not bring back that employee? The bottom line is, we're all going to be sued because the employee that was dismissed for this employee to come back was not given his due process. Because I also said to you, John, on the phone, you may be a lawyer, but most solicitors do not know employment law. We have been involved with TEAM for the last 9 years. Now, this was what was supposed to happen, and it didn't. And he got fired. And I asked for permission to talk about this, because this is liability that nobody is stopping. Nobody is stopping. That person was part of a union. Public employers. And that's what we are. That's why we don't have a CEO, because we are public employers. Under public employers, if there is a problem with an employee,
Jeanette,
I'm
listen,
talking
look,
to the solicitor.
I don't care who you-
I'm asking a
listen,
question.
all
See,
these-
this is what I'm
all
talking
these-
about.
listen.
This is what I'm talking about.
Listen to me.
If I ask a question, if I'm telling the truth
All these
about
issues that
something,
we're talking about need to be addressed in a personnel.
we can't have a personnel meeting because our
Yes, we
rights
can.
as-
We can have one.
Our rights,
Let me answer your,
Go
I
ahead,
think
John.
what the question you originally posed was, yes, prior to last month's meeting, because of illness reasons you weren't able to attend, the matter was on the agenda, you contacted me, I agreed with what you stated to me on the phone, and when that matter came before council, as a motion to re-employ a certain individual, I did ask council that if they were going to approve that it be contingent upon further research about whether or not there were any labor contracts or other contractual documents that would prevent it. And council did accept that advice, and they did approve the reemployment of the individual subject to that further inquiry. I did look into that. Again, we were talking about agreements that dated back a number of years, so it did take a week or 10 days or something. Ms. Williams made inquiries.
but there's a recent agreement too.
There is a recent agreement, and there were prior agreements. And at that point, the attorneys spoke about it. I did render advice to Ms. Brown and Ms. Williams in writing on that. What I would advise right now is, because it is a personnel issue and you do talk about whether or not somebody's eligible to work, I'd be happy to share my advice with council. I'd first prefer to do it in an executive session where personnel matters should be discussed, and thereafter council can decide what course of action it would wish to take.
Then, Mr. McBlain, I'm not gonna talk about any employee, but I'm just gonna put this out to you, because you and I have discussed before your limited knowledge on some employment laws.
Well, I don't know about my limited knowledge on
We
some.
are public employers. There are rules that we have to follow.
Mhm.
We did not follow them, and I'll tell you why we did not follow them. We were not notified of the special meeting. We weren't consulted whether we would be able to make it. We weren't told about the meeting until it was in the paper. And we did not get, no, we were not notified. Look, I'm telling you, we were not notified. If you want to, we were not notified. What I'm saying to you is, you stated at that meeting that everybody was notified of that meeting. They weren't.
I don't know what meeting you're talking about.
I'm talking about the meeting of what, the 23rd?
Month or two.
The special meeting that was held at 2:30 in the afternoon on what, January 23rd? On January 23rd. I called and left you with a frantic, upset message that this had to stop. We were supposed to be notified. All of council wasn't notified that we were having a special meeting. We're never notified, John, and I call you all the time and say, John, again, even with the agendas, I call you and say, again, John, I have called you before you sat there. I called you and said, John, our bank accounts have been broken in. You said to me, I'll get you a DA and call you back. Did that ever happen? No.
I did call you, John, I called you the night I found out, and I found out from an employee. I did not get any emails, I did not get anything, I did not get a phone call, even though other members of council were called repeatedly to make sure they were here. At 2:30 in the afternoon on a Friday, 2:30 in the afternoon, you're supposed to tell your boss, I can't come in? I'm sorry, we just came back from break and I couldn't come in. You should have made accommodations so that every single person on this council should have been there. You don't hold it at 2:30 in the afternoon when 3 people on this council work past 2:30.
Did you make an accommodation for the 11 o'clock meeting that she called the week before?
Yeah, we were on break. All of us were on break.
You 3
at the
were
time.
on break, were they?
Do they don't work?
They work.
That don't work.
Who works?
Ready, works?
All right,
All right,
All right, come on, I don't be here till 3 in the morning.
That's right, because we're
Public
having
safety.
2 meetings in one night.
Public safety.
Public safety, Mr. Brun, go ahead, Mr. Brundage.
Wasn't here either, wasn't mentioned either.
Go ahead.
Public safety, in the interest of time, because this is going
There you
like,
go.
I'm gonna defer the. public
Progress,
safety
right?
and also the parks and recreation.
Thank you.
Well, I have issues on public safety.
Any questions for public safety?
I do, and I don't know if I want, I don't know who can answer this, whether it will be the mayor or Mr. Brundage. I feel